All right. Hello, everybody. It's me, Anthony Jones, and in this session, which I believe is study session 4, I'm going to be exploring more of these designs of like how to paint a face. I got a couple more references here for me to work with. In my previous test, the one that I did on my iPad was just not as good as I was hoping, and hopefully the music's not too loud. It looks like, on my side, it looks like it's blasting, and in my ears it sounds like it's blasting. But it's actually, I've done several tests and it's not like that at all. So hopefully it's good. But I'm gonna begin by trying to figure out how to get better at constructing the face. So in this go around, we're going to spend less time trying to worry about the colors. We're gonna just try to be better artists and try to draw better faces. And this is usually a good time to study when you've done a test like I've already done, and to kind of find out what you've done wrong and what you don't understand. So in this study session, I'm gonna kind of walk through like what I'm gonna do. So I don't know. I'm gonna look at these faces. I'm going to try to avoid my own biases, and so I'm going to try to create a system. So let's try to create a system. So let's do this. And again, this is just raw footage of just me studying. Now this type of head is the type of head that I typically draw, and so it's not too innovative. And this is what I used to do in the past, but I guess in this situation, the difference is I'm trying to understand what's going on here. Alright, so if I think about what I'm going to do here, is essentially what I'm trying to figure out is, okay, how do I get the nose right? So I figured, in some instances, we'll have a wider nose and a protruded muzzle, but that's not always the case. So I got a couple examples where maybe the nose is a little bit wider and it's more protrusion, where it's less wide, where it's even very non-existent. And this person seems they could be mixed, and just try to get people that are even very unique looking in general. And so let's see if this works out. So if I break it out like this, I've created these planes. Now, what is it about the brow that's unique to an African American male, right? And I decided to jump to men to help me understand what are the differences when I draw the women. Now, this is important because when people just draw only dudes or only women, but they don't necessarily do back and forth, and they don't do it constantly back and forth, they have a harder time understanding the actual differences between the two images. So in this instance, let's see what's going on here. So I definitely think there's a sense of like the nostrils and the nose are a little bit more rounded, at least in this example. And the bridge of the nose seems just connected to the cheeks. So there is no like really strong bridge. Now in this image down here, it feels like there's a stronger bridge, but that might be the similar thing that makes them all connect. That it seems like there's just like this flattened nose that's also wider. But they also have sunken in eyelids, and that makes sense, especially if you think about where Native African Americans or Native Africans come from. They come from places of like hot climate and a lot of sun, so it makes sense to have like a brow that kind of creates a natural shade. And then the lips, here's what we're going to do. We're going to design kind of the muzzle in a larger scale, and then we're going to create like a huge extrusion here. And then we're going to widen the lips. And so there's definitely some space, so maybe I need to like lower this. There's definitely space between the nose, especially with this person. and the top lip. That feels pretty good. So let's try to do one without really looking. I'm gonna go over here and do it. And I'm gonna try to design my own character. So I'm gonna envision the faculties of the different parts of the face and try to remember my notes. And I already have a good base to build off of in terms of drawing, because I've drawn plenty of faces, but most of them are, you know, standard Caucasian. I actually have only a few projects where I've had to mix it up. Yeah, so basically what I'm imagining here is this is where I'll start to blend this nose, create a larger arc here. Yeah, it feels like it has some merits. And the key word here is some, because I don't really feel like it's 100%. And it might be the eyebrows. What's the difference with the eyebrows here? Okay, they're definitely higher. That's where I went wrong. And definitely thicker. This one's not as high. But, you know, this is a battle lost in terms of getting those eyes right. But a good example, and one thing that I know actually, is the eyes are usually wider. They're usually further apart. So let's see if that helps. Oh, like almost immediately. And so whenever you're learning how to draw people or things, you know, you have to observe the subtle differences and the nuances. That's what's going to help you push and pull your forms. Whenever I study, it's really hard because I don't know a lot of the stuff that I'm trying to learn. Hence why I do it. That's the whole point. I think there's this weird like problem where people feel like, you know, when I do a study, it's like hard. I don't get it. Like it should be easier. But that's the whole point. It's like it's not supposed to be easy. What are you thinking? The whole idea is that you're trying to learn something you don't understand or you don't know fully. And if it's really easy, then you might not be actually learning anything. And so that's something you should be very cautious of. And then when you start to, you know, try to do the work for yourself outside of your studies and you can't reproduce it, well, duh, you don't know what you're doing. You didn't really practice for it. So this looks good. This looks like actually someone I know, slightly. So let's go ahead and put that over there, and I think that was a good test. So I'll call this study. I'll call this test. Okay, now let's try to do a little bit of the female here. And again, you'll notice that there's like a wider eyes. And one thing that I noticed is that the cheeks are just a little bit more flush, a little bit more rounded on African women, especially when I was doing the previous studies. And definitely for younger African women, where some of these, like, you know, very traditional African men, they do have rounded cheeks too, but they also have like a strong, at least in a lot of examples that I found. So maybe it's only I'm like getting supermodels and not like a more broader spectrum. So maybe that's something to note for my next round of studies. So let's try to do this person right here. Let's see what we can do. They're definitely very attractive. And so what I would probably recommend doing next time is finding some people just a little bit more average. Okay, let's try to create a system again. Now, drawing the skull, like the whole head, it might actually be meaningless because in a lot of cases there will be times where I just draw just the hair there, but you should still have a foundational understanding of what's going on. Alright, so let's go with the wider eyes analysis. There's also something that I've noticed, like when I normally do this, it's very shallow, this line, this bridge shape. But you know, I think I should make it taller. I think that's gonna help. And then I'm gonna draw the eyes right at the edge of that. And then I'm gonna draw the same kind of round nose. Even though she doesn't have a wide nose. And she does have extrusion, but it's super subtle, it's actually not that prominent, but we're gonna put it in. And I'm gonna just round these features a little bit more. Women tend to have a little bit more roundness to their heads, and I think this is because they just have a little bit more fat, like in their face and their arms and their body. Obviously there's women out there who are ultra thin who do not have these features, but even then it seems the curve of their skull seems just to be subtly softer. This is not always true, but it is a good place to start. And then if you want to push and pull, depending on what you're trying to go for with your character designs, at least you're starting from a base that you understand why, other than just always making every single person you draw look exactly the same. Which, you know, I do all the time. And this is why I'm trying to practice this. But what I tend to do whenever I do character design is I actually find people that I think would be great, and I just kind of cast them somewhat. I just do like a mock version. Okay, let's try to see if I can draw this person's face, and then we're gonna go over here. Turn the head a little bit. Again, create this wide-eyed. But I shouldn't make the mistake of messing up the proportions. Already giving a wider eye approach, I feel way more comfortable. Again, more rounded. And then the muzzle. If you hear my baby in the background, it's going through a phase. Apologize for nothing. Babies be babies. He's going through the phase of always wanting mama. Now this isn't exactly like the reference I was looking at. Oh, oops, put my phone away. But the idea is can I reconstruct a person's face? And now I'm thinking the nose could be a little bit more bubbly. But this idea of the bridge of the nose really connecting with the cheeks, that's definitely a prominent feature. Yeah, looking at this reference down here, see if that can help me out. Supplement just a little bit. Yeah, this feels good. It feels like now that I'm like taking my time, deconstructing it a bit, feels like I can actually design a little bit more with intention. And again, you know, just always drawing uber beautiful people is not always the best strat. Oh yeah, this is what I need to get better at. The eyelids are also a little bit larger. I tend to draw them like, oh, this looks like someone I know too. I tend to draw them really tiny. And that's very common in like Caucasian folks. And I'm like, I draw a lot of them specifically because, well, I mean, I do a lot of characters that are Caucasian. It's just how it is. But for my personal growth, I don't want to just be stuck there, right? I want to start to really push other designs. And I don't, like I said, I don't really do it a lot. Not because I don't have a strong ability to, well, actually that is what it is, right? Well, the reason why it's not that I haven't done it before, that's what I was trying to say. It's not like that I haven't done it before. It's just that it was always for work, or it was required of me to draw these things, and I did it because, you know, I was getting paid. This looks like someone's aunt. But the reason why I don't do it like just for myself is because I don't have a lot of skill in it. But if I have skill, then I'll be more inclined to just do it as part of my personal work. Like I won't feel as deterred not to do it. You know what I mean? Like I will make an attempt. But see, like doing the men's studies, it kind of looks like, now I'm looking back, it's kind of looking like a real African version of Obama. I don't know what his haircut's like, but anyway. And so, yeah, I'm gonna put some hair on this character. I think my son just walked in. He's getting some papers. It's alright, I'm doing a study session, so it's alright. They can interrupt. Give us some facial hair. Just give him a little beard. Abraham Lincoln beard. Nah, it's fine. Just give him a little goatee, it's fine. And with this study, I'm not trying to, again, be a master. I'm just trying to have a better understanding. And if I keep this up every day, I'll get better at just drawing people of color just a little bit more. And again, my goal is to try to do it more because I just don't do it enough. I should make an attempt. And so maybe I can look at this reference down here as a good guide of how I can bring back some of these tones. And it just feels like the contrast is a little bit more prominent. Yeah, I'm feeling closer. Whoa. I'm feeling a little closer to drawing the stuff more prominently. And I think that's it for today. I don't want to spend too much time, but this is a good steady session for me. Good 20 minutes put in. It's time to move on to the next one. Move on to the next day. Get better day by day. And as you guys will see, when I get to probably study 10, maybe, like I'm going to probably do this for quite a while. I'm going to probably do 6 more of these studies. I'm going to feel way more confident doing these types of practices, and I'll be way more effective, and I'll have a lot more confidence in doing this type of drawing. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned a thing or two. I thought I'll talk through this one just because this is a little bit less stress. I'm more loose. I'm less thinking about the grand scheme of things, but I'm trying to learn. This is the goal here. All right. Okay. Peace out, friends. Don't forget to check out my website for more tutorials on actually how to paint things well. And you can also visit me on ArtStation, Facebook, and Instagram, and follow me there. Peace out, friends. Talk later.